Thank you, Tom and Fiona. Folks, we're almost there. As we come to the end of OFC26, I've been reflecting on the last 3 days, and what a 3 days we have had, or 2.5. We're packed in enough ideas, debate, challenge and inspiration to last us well beyond the journey home. Some of us are certainly going to need to get a lie down after this. But what has stuck with me most is the spirit in this room, a spirit of honesty, curiosity and courage, and yes, of resilience. Not the kind of resilience that simply grits its teeth and carries on, but the kind that adapts, collaborates, questions and grows. We've heard from some world-leading thinkers, from ministers, innovators, from farmers, young people stepping into the sector for the first time. And there's one thing that unites us all, and unites all our voices, is the fact that we cannot face the future alone. We've talked a lot about resilience this year, and rightly so. But resilience isn't solo. It isn't a solo sport. It's something you build. It's something not that you build in isolation, but it's something that we create together in community, in conversation, and sometimes in disagreement. We've also had moments of humour, sometimes intentional, sometimes accidental, but that's part of the magic of this conference. We can talk about some of the most serious issues facing our sector and still find space to laugh, to connect, and enjoy being together. We've had emotional moments too, stories of family, stories of hardship or perseverance, and stories that remind us that behind every policy, every debate, every headline, there are real people, people who care about the land, care about the animals, and the food and the communities that we serve. People who get up every morning and do the work that keeps this country fed. Because as we leave Oxford today, the real work begins. The conversations we've had here, the ideas, the challenges, the frustrations, the hopes, they can't stay in this room. They need to travel home with us. They need to shape our decisions, our relationships, our businesses and our communities. We need to keep lowering those drawbridges between us as the farming community, as sectors, between farmers and policymakers, between rural and urban, and also between generations, between those who agree and those who don't agree. Because in the last 90 years, if it's taught us anything, it's that progress happens when we talk to each other and not about each other. We need to keep challenging respectively, constructively and courageously, and we need to keep inspiring, not just the next generation, but we need to keep inspiring each other. And we need to keep including, make sure that OFC remains a place where everyone's voice can be heard and that every person feels welcome. And above all, we need to keep growing resilience, not as a slogan, but as a shared commitment, a commitment to our people, our businesses, our environment, and to our future. If we can do that, if we can carry that spirit for us that we have in recent days, take it forward in the days and months ahead, then the next 90 years of OFC will be as every bit remarkable as it was at the beginning. Now, a final few housekeeping notes before I hand over to next year's chair. Firstly, your feedback matters, and you can share your thoughts through the conference app. What has worked well? What could we have done better? We always want to keep improving year on year. OFC is always a work in progress, and your reflections generally help us shape and improve future conferences. All conference content will be available exclusively online from Monday, and will remain accessible for the next 2 weeks before being shared more widely. I also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all our partners and patrons. One of the greatest strengths of OFC is that the programme, the speakers, the themes, the content is set entirely by the OFC Council of Directors. Our partners and patrons place enormous trust in us to use their support wisely and independently, and I hope you feel that we have honoured that trust in how we have explored this year's theme. Thank you sincerely for your continued support. And now it gives me immense pleasure to introduce your OFC chair for 2027. This has been a well-kept secret for many months. I would now like to announce our new OFC chair for 27, a colleague who truly embodies the spirit of this conference, someone who brings energy, insight, an unwavering commitment to our sector, and who will lead OFC in its next chapter with vision and purpose. From the rock and roll farmer Will Evans in Wales a couple of years ago to the mighty Jeff Sansom from Worcestershire to some random Irish guy, now it's the turn of Scotland. Sheena is quite simply a powerhouse. She seems to know more people across the UK than most of us could ever hope to. And if you don't know her yet, you will soon. Her motto is breaking down silos. It just isn't a phrase, it's how she works, how she connects people, and how she builds community. She is a chili farmer. She believes passionately in local and seasonal food and drink, and the benefits this brings to local and rural communities. Her leadership, her values, and her drive make her an exceptional choice to guide OFC into 2027. Please join me in welcoming Sheena Horner. Thank you, and God bless, and safe travels home. Over to Sheena.
You're not supposed to make me cry.
You're not crying, are you?
No, that was so nice. Wow, I've got to say this all feels slightly surreal. I vividly remember 9 years ago sitting just there. The OFC18 conference had just come to an end, the very first one I'd ever attended, thinking I must come back. And I did. In fact, I've attended every year since, but what I didn't realise at that time was the amount of hard work that goes on behind the scenes to deliver this annual event, or that I'd be standing on the stage this afternoon talking about OFC27. However, before we get to that, I'd like to say a huge thank you to Jude, to Julia and Ali for all the hard work they have put in over the last 3 and 4 years, and what a pleasure it has been to work with them. It's really sad at the end of the conference as we say our goodbyes, but what memories we have to treasure. In fact, a big thank you to everyone who makes this conference possible, our speakers, our service providers, our patrons, partners, but most importantly to all of you, our delegates. I am truly honoured to be appointed as your chair for 2027 along a fantastic council and my fellow third-year directors, Mario and David. I know I am holding you all up from getting home, so as it has now become the tradition, although a relatively new one, it's time to mention the theme of next year's conference. When the council consider the theme, we take into consideration what is happening in the sector, where there are opportunities, and what aligns with our charitable remit to include, challenge and inspire. And most important, what will be of importance to you. During my time attending Oxford and beyond, I've been frustrated by the silos that are sometimes created within our industry. For example, urban versus rural, organic versus conventional, especially when all our goals are the same, to produce high-quality food in a sustainable system where our people, the environment and land are all valued. This week, we have celebrated 90 years of Oxford, and with it changes within agriculture. When we reflect and look back at some of the successes over those decades, it's when we have found synergies and worked collaboratively that we have delivered a strong and positive outcome. Our theme for 2027 very much optimises the legacy, but also look to create new paths to continue growing resilience. It will consider the relationships and business models, land use, global trade and international relations. Our people, both those within and out with the sector, supply chains, and most importantly, it will consider the desire to be bold, seek positive change and drive a more harmonious industry that works together for the greater good. I am pleased to announce the theme for 2027 will centre around harmony. We very much look forward to sharing more information with all of you in the coming months. The app will be available for the next month, so please do use it to continue networking and engaging with others. And to help us shape next year's theme, please do take a few minutes to complete the survey, which will appear shortly. But for now, I wish you all a safe journey home and look forward to seeing you in Oxford next year from the 6th to the 8th of January.